Hi, I've got your energy stories for the third week of February 2024. And in the first story, Shell has said it will immediately close all of its hydrogen refilling stations in California, citing, quote, supply complications and other external market factors, unquote, as a reason. Last fall, it had already announced plans to jettison 48 previously announced sites. Bad news if you own a hydrogen-powered Toyota Mirai, Hyundai Nexo, or Honda Clarity, as only 7 stations will now remain, all in Northern California. And if you're one of the 3,143 California drivers who registered a hydrogen car in 2023, well, you now probably have a very attractive looking paperweight, at least until someone else steps in. Sticking with hydrogen, Koloma, a Bill Gates-backed startup focused on extracting hydrogen from naturally occurring underground deposits, just raised almost $250 million, bringing its total haul to over $300 million. It also won $900,000 from the U.S. Department of Energy in a grant to improve methods to stimulate underground hydrogen production, which can theoretically be done by adding water and other components to iron-rich rock. Naturally occurring hydrogen was first found decades ago in Mali and has recently been the subject of exploration in France, Australia, the U.S., and other locations. And just last week, the largest deposit of naturally occurring hydrogen found to date was discovered in a chromium mine in Albania. Qcells, a leading solar panel manufacturer and project developer in the residential and commercial space, will partner with solar recycling company SolarCycle to recycle Qcells decommissioned panels. This marks the first U.S. large-scale partnership of this nature. The plan is to recycle panel materials including aluminum, silver, copper, silicon, and low iron glass, and reintroduce it into the domestic supply chain to manufacture more solar panels. SolarCycle says its technology can recover over 95% of the value in a module, exceeding the current industry standard of about 50%. And Qcells is a big company, so what it does matters. Last January, it announced plans for a $2.5 billion sustainable solar supply chain in the U.S., boosting its production overall to 8.4 gigawatts of capacity by the end of this year. And for its part, SolarCycle has deals with over 40 large U.S. solar companies, and it just announced an investment of $344 million into a new solar glass manufacturing facility in Georgia, capable of 5 to 6 gigawatts of solar glass annually, expected to be commissioned by 2026. On the West Coast, the U.S. Bureau of Ocean Energy Management has designated 2 final wind energy areas off Oregon's coast totaling approximately 195,000 acres. Next up is an environmental assessment of potential impacts from offshore wind leasing. Given the lack of a continental shelf, eventual installations will likely be in the form of floating turbines. Lithium Corporation has successfully produced 99.5% pure battery-grade lithium carbonate from oilfield brine at a demonstration plant in Calgary. The brine resides hundreds of yards beneath the McMurray bitumen deposits in the Athabasca oil sands. A preliminary economic assessment puts the potential at initial 1,000 tons annually, eventually getting to 23,000 tons. Commerciality has not yet been proven, but it would be an advantage to source lithium from an already degraded environment. Well, the chief operating officer of Ford's EV unit, Marin Gajja, warned that China's EV automakers are coming to North America to eat their lunch, starting with facilities located in Mexico that manufacture low-cost vehicles. She commented, quote, "We look at that and say, that's coming here eventually, so we'd better get fit now and better get going on EVs, or we don't have a future as a company." Ford is recalibrating its EV strategy and working on more affordable electric models to take on Chinese competition, as well as the affordable model that Tesla recently announced it's developing. News reports confirm that BYD, a Chinese company already outpacing Tesla in global total numbers of EVs, is sourcing factory locations south of the border. And finally, Microsoft has contracted with Swiss company Neustark to have 27,600 tons of carbon dioxide directly removed from the atmosphere and stored in waste concrete over the next 6 years. Microsoft has signed numerous such carbon removal contracts since it began with its pledge to become carbon negative by 2030. Well, that's all for this week. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next week.